Good day and welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, we are into the painting stage, or well, we've got our base coat down. As I've indicated before, I'm piecemealing this and I'm going in what I feel is the best order for me to put this together and work with my fumble fingers. Because if I do things, if I put on too many things that are spindly, I will break them. So what I've done is I've gotten our base coat down before I put the underside details, like, you know, the landing gear and things like that, just because I fully expect myself to break landing gear off as I do that. So what we have is I have the camo scheme. This is the camo scheme I chose. It's yes, I know it's not 100% accurate, but it's close, and it will be close enough for a camo scheme to make me happy. I eyeballed it from the transfer sheets for the night owls that I put up before, and it's close, and it's close enough that the general pattern and the general percent coverage is about, you know, what they were. So it has the look I'm looking for. So enough apologizing for that. I hope the folks who are hyper into that detail forgive me. So again, knowing that's what I have, this is where we are. I do find I have to be very careful with this right here. My fingers want to break that off. So I went with, you know, the black underneath. And different pictures show a different line where they meet. I'm going with the illustration that I have where it meets right about there, just to the underside of the wing. So essentially the way I did it was I flipped this upside down and then I just sprayed. You know, I did our underside all black. Once the underside was done and I had it all up, then I just masked the underside. I masked this, and I masked these wings, masked along those lines, and then laid down this coat. Laid down this coat, made a mask for those pieces, laid down the bright green coat. Made another mask over top of those, laid down the dark green, or the faded green coat. And that's how I did that. What I will do is put up a couple pictures that I have of those now. All right, so that was the masks in place. Obviously I've masked the top here. It really wasn't difficult to do, but I did, you know, I actually had a couple people that I know ask me how I do stuff like this, because I've done things like this before. Before I do that, I did try to freehand airbrush it, and that did not work well. In that that picture is right here. I really didn't like the way that came out, so I did decide to go with masking. And this looks better to my eye than what, you know, I would have gotten. So to my point, I've had a couple of individuals ask me, because I was doing in a couple of my bolt actions, how I do masks. And if I'm going to mask a larger thing, you know, if I'm going to paint on a smaller subject, I will actually freehand it, and I'll just hairy brush it. But something like this, I just can't hairy brush and keep all this smooth, so I'm going to mask it. So there's a way I do it. And essentially what I'll do is, let's say I'm going for this one here, right? So, because this is actually fairly complex. I'll start at the spine, and then I'll draw what I'm looking for. And I'm going to kind of try to stay true to what it is. And I'll have a reference point off to the side here for me to follow. Okay. So that's just a rough line, right? So knowing that I want to keep that side, and, you know, I look back here and think, okay, I didn't do that. So get here, bring this, I get over here, bring this down along there. Then as it rolls over here, come down, back a little over, then down along the side here, and then like that. So let's go with something that does that. Then I use this really, really high-tech stuff called tape. And I just use painter's tape. And I'll lay painter's tape down, and I'll make a quick little sticky sheet. Now, they do make, and there is in existence, stuff that is like this. That's, you know, big sheets of tape. I've used it a couple of times. I found, for me, I found that to be more expensive than it needed to, than what I was using it for, and more difficult to work with because they come in like these big 12-foot sheets. Now I'm going to drop the camera down a little bit so we can get to what I'm actually working on. Here we go. And I'll get just one more. So I make sure that I'm going to have enough tape to cover the space I'm working on. And yeah. So here, I get that down. And then knowing where the spine is, I'll start there. Now remember, I have to remember what's the part of the mask that I'm keeping. So I'm keeping this part. This is the part of the mask I'm going to stick on the model. This is the part that is I'm masking off. So then all I do is I make a point. And those drawing, you know, the lines that are drawn, you know, to help guide me. They don't have to be exact. If you want to make things that are exact, well, then do that and be better at following the lines than I am being right here. And I'm doing this really quick. I'll add a little more of a bump there, a little more of a roll here, curve into that, roll over here, roll this up over there. Now the other thing I want to do is I want to make sure I'm pulling when I'm cutting. You know, it's like working leather, and you want to pull your knife rather than push. So as I get down here, I'm going to have to turn my hand in and yank like this. It's harder to control. So I find it easier to pull in the angle that my hand's comfortable being. So I've done that. And so I started here. Now because I layered the tape here to here to here to here, start at the top and I pull it down. And it just comes right up. Once I have that there, I have this right here. I didn't finish, so I'll just zip that down. And then I'll just pull this stuff right up. And always remember to work from the top down, otherwise they'll come apart like they were just doing there. Then I'm going to come back over here, and I find the part that sort of finds where I wanted it to be, right? So if I've done this side already, then I'll match it up over here. If I haven't done that side, then this is the piece that really sticks out because it's the one that is blatant on the side of the thing. So we'll just say I'm doing that. So I'll go here, and then you just work it up. Ideally not doing what I just did, which is getting those. And I work along the edge, and I use my fingernail, get in there, make it seen, follow that edge over. There we go. And there you go. I now have an edge mask. And then lay down more tape. You know, come back over here. You know, this piece obviously would get in the way of that mask. So I'll have another mask cut here. And that's where, you know, the pictures that you saw. When I was doing these, you know, these leftover parts, right? So here, become, and this is where, again, if you're not being super accurate and you're not looking for a specific level of accuracy, you can do this. You can play around, maybe I want it, yeah, like that. And which is, if I recall correctly, that's actually how I did this one. This was a piece of off there. But the same thing over here, you know, for your edge piece, I have that. So if I wanted one of these colors out here, or if I'm going to use this later, you know, you can set this off to the side on your board. So that in a quick nutshell, is how I mask and do masking if I'm going to do something like this. It's a fairly easy, fairly simple, and to me, cheap way of doing it. Like I said, it's you can spend money and do things, go get articulate masks. And if you want to do the super accurate ones, right? It's a matter, in my opinion, of just taking the time with this part, with the paper, is you just be accurate with your eyeball and get things done. Now, you will see that there are little spots, like there, there, and I can hyperpoint out there, places where the mask wasn't ideal. And then that's all, you fix that in the finishing, which is what I will do. So, all right, all of that said, there's the masking process done. And that's really what I am going to use this video for, which was masking. We have the masking completed for this. We will now spend some time cleaning it up. Now that this is down, I'm going to seal this down and then begin the cleanup. So I'll go to the little parts and start cleaning up. Then I am now moving on to what's left, because I started this, I haven't finished it. And that's to give, because this space and then space on the tails have gunmetal. So I'm going to be doing those. Need to finish these. I've got one layer down. I need to put another layer down. But then I will move on, once that's done, to do the landing gear, because now it's time to do the landing gear, because I need to get those in so I can start the weathering process. I can probably do a little bit more sealing here and then weathering, but now it's time to start weathering the thing. And I'm wondering if maybe I would be better off doing some more weathering. And this is how I work. This is why I don't video a lot. So I'm starting to think like maybe I would be better off weathering the top before I go putting the landing gear on. But we will see what decision I make, in the next video. So there we go. That's the F-4G, our status, and I hope you find this useful. And thank you very much. And as always, I hope you enjoy modeling yourself, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you.